Now, let's carry on with the next panel, which undertakes the convergence between payments and banking. Distinguished guests, I would like to invite our panelists and our moderator to the stage. Zeynel Abidin Avcı from Central Bank of the Republic of Turkey, Erhan Yazgan from Payfix, Hüsnü Avşar Gürdal from Mastercard, and Kerem Orbay from Garanti BBVA Payment Systems are joining the panel, whereas Professor Emre Alkin from Istanbul Topkapı University is moderating. Please welcome our guests and our panelists and our moderator, Professor Dr. Emre Alkin. Welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry if all the panelists are Turkish. I took the privilege to talk in my own mother language, in Turkish, if you may. Efendim, bugün beraberiz. Sizi daha fazla ayakta...
So, we'll have panelists today. I'd like to talk about how it all began, but first of all, let me introduce the panelists. Erhan Yazgan from Payfix, with your round of applause.
Bizden hiç ayırmadığımız
and Mastercard, something that we always keep in our pocket. Hüsnü Avşar Gürdal from Mastercard. And I'm very proud of admitting that it's my bank, which is Garanti Bank, and Kerem Orbay from Garanti is with us. And once you have central bank, you have to change your seats. And Zeynep, Mr. Zeynep from Central Bank of Turkey. So the order has been already placed so that we could replace our seats. So this is all from us. Welcome. I have many questions with me. Some will be a bit forced, but now that we have the central bank and all the powerful players of the industry, I will ask, I wonder how many of you were born after 1980s and 1988. First of all, apologies for that, because we didn't really leave you a good world. Anyone who was born after 1980 within the panel, well, apologies then. I'm saying it because how did it all start? This device that you see, this was invented and the story began. And in 2010, something interesting happened, and I was working with carriers back then, and we started carrying data with them, and they became smart watches, smart phones. How many people look at their WhatsApps when they wake up? Well, work and love and life in general, people tend to look at their WhatsApp messages when they wake up. So before you have breakfast, you check your email. Who would agree with that? Well, that's all? Is that all? I'm not going to criticize you for that. That's good that you check your emails before you have breakfast. I'm saying it because this thing, as we call WhatsApp, was sold for 19.5 billion USD. And when it was sold, I posted a tweet because thousands of people work at Turkish Airlines, but WhatsApp of 55 people have been sold has been sold for 19.5 billion USD. But this offended some people, and Turkish Airlines tweeted that our aircraft have a worth of 40 billion USD. But I told them that it was all rented. But all those people who were born after 1980s have the chance to travel around the world with their laptops. And the added value that an industry company can only work for 1 year in order to create the added value that a young person can traveling around the world. And this will bring me to fintechs. And having made this introduction, I will start with my questions. So I'll start with the central bank. And, well, we have this valuable representative of central bank. It's quite a challenging time for central bank because you are the stronghold of capitalism. And especially in a world that we live in, you are basically the embodiment of a central system as well. But I looked at the CVs and resumes of the board of directors at central bank, and cryptocurrencies and fintechs have been a primary area for you, I guess. But would you please describe the perspective of central banks into fintechs? And what about the instruments? Because you bring together people with different perspectives, and you have only 3 minutes to talk. No, I'm just joking about that. If I notice that you're a good speaker, I will give you additional time. Well, this is a question that we all ask. Digitization is part of our lives right now. Introduction, you mentioned that people have all their smartphones and we're digitized, and payments have been digitized as well. And central bank has many functions, but payments is only one of them. I will only deliver my remarks focused on payments. At central bank, we have established players like banks and electronic payment companies and the representatives of the fintech industry we have in this area, in the area of payments. But we wanted to narrow it down, and we want to address it as payment institutions. And we noticed that central banks and payment institutions are strategic partners with one another. This was something mentioned in the previous session as well. And we are acting with competition, but at the same time acting with unity. And this is how we respect one another, and this is how we contribute greatly to Turkey's economy. This is the perspective of the central bank. So you're not really opposed to the idea. Well, the status quo, the current state of affairs is pushing us to adapt ourselves to that, because life brings with it new developments, and financial players and digital players and central banks also have to embrace this change as well. And central bank has a regulatory role. We have a regulatory perspective as we are regulating the payments industry. We want to encourage innovation, because innovation is key here. Because we're talking about a disruptive tradition of innovations, and we want this to be maintained and to be supported in Turkey as well. And we encourage payment service providers in this respect. And we also have adopted an approach that will minimize the risks that will be included in it. And the second wave of regulations have been introduced recently. We listened to the industry. We considered expectations of customers, and we introduced regulations that would help all the processes to be carried out in a smooth and incessant manner. And we introduced updates to regulations as well. Digital wallet has been added, and this is a first in the world. And subsidiaries of the banks are payment companies right now, and some disruptive effects may be at stake. That's why we introduced a set of certain rules. And we're not only acting as regulators, we are also providing the infrastructure for them. In 2020, we internally developed the FAST system, and we deployed it. It's not only an immediate payment system, instantaneous payment system. When we look at its past 3 years, it has been an innovative solution, and it has as a pioneer of many other innovative solutions as well. The FAST system, before I start with the functionalities of the FAST system, when we deployed the FAST system, we wanted the adoption. We also aimed widespread adoption. We also enabled electronic payment service providers to have FAST systems as well. This is the way that we allowed all the players to make use of the FAST system. We also have layer services architectured or built on the FAST system. Different services are there. The first is Call Us. This is about sending money without having to use an IBAN, and you can send payments to the other party without entering their bank account numbers. But 23 million people are using that. Instead of a bank account, are you using the phone number? Yes, because this is quite an easy solution, and we want it to be improved even further. And those who haven't used it yet, you're more than welcome to use it. Another layer service is the fast TR QR code. This was something that we launched in 2020, but this was only used for card payments, but we didn't rest there only. And for fast payments, TR QR code has been introduced. And are you using that? Well, many more people are using that. Well, this is a good scene, actually. And yes, we have an innovative dimension, but we are also focusing on the safety of payment services. And this is another layer service. So this may not be recognized very well because this is more for payment providers, payment services providers. This is about all the procedures which users are suspicious of fraud, and similar users or similar procedures, when they're repeated, red flags can be raised, and this is the service is about. And in January, we have deployed another layer service, which is about asking for payments. This is about users having the capability of asking for payments between users. Well, individual users can make use of this functionality, but commercial enterprises can also use that. This is one of the aims that we pursue. And secure payment is another layer service. If there is a payment which requires a consent or confirmation, we first give the guarantee for the seller that the payment will be made, and it's going to be introduced soon. Fast includes these kinds of layer services and innovations. So 37 participants we have, and 12.2 million TL is the volume of FAST, and FAST has thus become an inevitable part of our lives. So I'm going to give you some time to take some breath. It's been a great presentation. So regulatory authority and the method of fintech. It's really good that regulatory authorities have a positive attitude towards it, because in other countries we see some players and authorities who are really appalled by the idea of fintechs. Central authorities are concerned about controlling them. And I would like to start with MasterCard, if you allow me. There was a conference in Athens before the pandemic, and I was on the stage, and I asked the audience how the limit of their credit card was set. But it was all about reputation, and the audience failed to give a good answer to that. So credit card movements in the past will automatically grant you power for purchasing. So you need to hold on to your equity rather than payments. And I don't really know if people enjoyed my presentation, but MasterCard, wherever you go to the world, is something that adds to your recognition and credibility. This is a very precious asset, if you allow me. And how does MasterCard approach this world of fintech, and how are you planning to interact with the customers? Because in a very rapid manner, we have started using these smartphones as well. Well, thank you very much, Emre. I am greeting you all with respect. I would like to start with the reason for existence of MasterCard. It is digitization of all its services, and this is beyond commercial concerns as well. This is more like an ultimate goal for us. I feel indebted to the coming generations as well. We're not only generating financial value, we are helping economies to survive. We're helping world economies to grow as well. And 20 trillion was the economic size in Turkey, and what we have attained to date, and what does it really stand for? Our digitization journey and its economic value, it was 5% actually. So 1 trillion TL of value has been created because we were able to digitize this technology. We are doing it. Household spendings, for example, when it's all done digitally, this is basically in the records, in the books, and you can basically can take a measurement of it, and all the expenditures that you're otherwise unable to do, credit cards allow you to do this spending as well. And export and import leg of it is also quite important, and tourism is the prominent player here. When you bring together all these values, we are predicting 55% of digitization. Yes, for us to attain the levels in Europe, like 70%, 80%, we have a lot of tasks to do. Banking penetration in Turkey, and well, I am talking about the customer base aged 15 to 65. 50% is the penetration ratio that we can attain, but the level is currently at 30%. But digitization should speak to everyone here, because some services here or the service acquisitions, you cannot really do it if you're not digitized, or if you're not part of the digitized world. You have started seeing certain boards saying that cash is not accepted, but you also see certain early adopters as well. So 30% of people must also be part of the digitized systems. Everyone should really have access to that. So you're talking about the entire economy representing cash, and everyone should have a digital footprint as well, for these to be kept on books, and for these to be taxed, and for these to be checked, and this is quite important for economy as well. And the adoption aspect of it is quite important, and the acceptance. Your card should be there, and your card should be allowing you to use that credit card, because you are setting a habit as well. When you need the cash, this is not really about the wallet. You always need to have your MasterCard with you. And the card acceptance and adoption, if we widen it, we will be quite successful as well. And this is how we channeled our efforts as well. MasterPass is one of the biggest wallets, 14 million customers with 65 million wallets, and for thousands of enterprises we have reached. This is our main driver as well. On the physical side, we have deployed new solutions, and micro enterprises can also accept cards at low costs, and we have enabled that. And the issuance of cards for everyone to be included in the digital ecosystem. We have become one of the greatest consulting companies. We have a team of 150 people, and we provide advisory services to people for digital adoption and inclusion. In financial and in non-financial issues, we help companies and people to pass better business decisions. As for Fintech, we want everyone to have cards. And Kerem may be managing a giant organization. You are managing Guarantee Bank, right? When you look at their resources, you can do many things from scratch, and this is a huge pool of resources for you. However, maybe one person or three people here, maybe a fintech player, one fintech player can enter the system and can create a value. And there is a secret message here. I get it. I get the message. But this is a democratization, actually, and MasterCard has this in its vision. The economy is being digitized, and the method is a democratization. Fintech Express has been a program that we launched, and any institution that is with us right now can issue cards, for example. Any fintech representatives, like hardcore fintech representatives with us, when I said the word hardcore, people lowered their hands, but you are talking about quite important things indeed, and that's why I wanted to leave PayFix to the very end of it. And I very much admire Guarantee Bank, all the bank representatives. I really admire all of you. My first credit card was issued by Guarantee, and I was at the age of 19, and Topaca branch was that. I remember all these logos in the branch. You wouldn't remember it, but I have then noticed that it was a matter of recognition. And when you look at it, those who are bank customers in Turkey, 83% of them do their transactions here. I'm not saying it, but sometimes scientists are a bit irritated by it, but this is shown by research. And the second country is Nigeria. And they will have the they will become the third biggest country in terms of population by 2050. And Topkapi University included all the universities hosting Nigerian students have seen these students working in the MIS and other technology solutions. So banking system digitization, Turkey is quite an important player in these kinds of areas. As Turkey is attaining great progress here, how do you approach fintech? Or would you or I just wonder if you tend to put yourself aside from fintechs. I was born before 1980s, so I think you were born in 1979 then. So for long years, I've been working at Guarantee Bank. Guarantee Payment Systems is a 100% owned subsidiary, and it's going to turn 25 years of age this year. It's a great company. It's a fintech. So there was no definition of fintech in 1999, but it was by its nature a fintech, and we have been preserving this spirit. What was it? What was its vision? It was about eliminating cash and digitizing all payment processes. And looking at where we are today, Guarantee Bank has made a great impact. We have made the greatest contribution to it. Yes, we are collaborating with various players. We have stakeholders, and customers are stakeholders. Stakeholders, meaning they're using our credit cards, and we have merchants as well. And this is a complete environment. And this is the environment where we're operating as well. So 300 out of 500 big companies in Turkey, we're working with them. And other partners are Miles and Smiles and Turkish Airlines. And we have MoneyCard, for example, with Migros. We are the Turkey representatives of American Card as well. But a very short story I want to share with you. Bonus, it's our proprietary brand. And how did it really emerge? Well, in the past, do you remember how installments were adjusted with credit cards? Printers were there, imprinters. They were mechanical. And you would just put the card there. 5 different slips would be produced, and provisions were then allocated. And the banks would put approvals for that. It was an open system, and it was a system that constituted risk for the merchants as well. It was a bit problematic, and Guarantee Payment Systems wanted to do it with cards, and this was when Bonus was launched. And a very smart loyalty program was developed alongside of it. And a bonus partner today can benefit from this loyalty program. And in any workplace, they can be part of the bonus system, but at the same time, they can establish their own loyalty system. So together with 8 brands and bonus brand, we are managing that. We have some 18 million customers with bonus logos. And this is one of the biggest programs in the country. And in 2015, well, on the side of fintechs, I mean, Bonus Flash is an application that we use. You probably are using that as well. 5.5 million customers are subscribers to it. With Bonus Flash, Guarantee had a vision back then, and smartphones were not really widespread back then. It was a digital storing system, and you could add your cards to your mobile phones, but you could also make physical payments, and at the same time, the campaigns of Guarantee's bonus program, you could monitor them as well. And this was quite a promising development in 2015. And Bonus Flash, its vision, we want to expand it even further, because together with Bonus Flash, the invisibility of payments has become an issue. What do I mean by that? We have the physical credit card, we have this post device. So the contactless payment has become a widely adopted method. It's a mechanical interaction, though, and where we're trying to get at is this following structure. So credit cards being stored on mobile phones, and the merchant will have a POS application on their mobile phones. So two mobile phones will come together and the payment will be complete. So this kind of a structure will be much more present in our lives. And I have seen the expert from the central bank having a critical look for it. So we are hearing the customers here, and we are trying to understand what kind of expectations that may have. So we are carrying out all the preparations necessary. And Bonus Flash and its application, we have added important things there. And two functionalities I'd like to emphasize here. The first is sustainability. Well, as you know, sustainability is an agenda item for us, so you don't really have to create slips. So you can have digital slips, and you can always go back and look at it. And on Netflix or Amazon, you define your credit cards to different applications. I don't know how many people know that, but which card of mine is defined to Netflix and which credit card of mine is defined to Apple? You sometimes wonder this, and we have heard from customers. And these kinds of platforms where my credit cards are defined, we have established an email. So you go there and you see which cards have been defined to which platforms, and you can turn them off or you can turn them on if you wish. So this was another innovation that we introduced. And the last innovation is biometric technologies, and we will be presenting them to customers. I am engaged in the testing phase of it. So it's going to be on the shelves, the biometric cards with your fingerprints. You will be able to scan it without you being asked for your password. You'll be able to complete all your procedures. So this is what awaits us in the future, and we will protect our spirit as well.
O kadar
Thank you very much. You put it so well that it very much sounds like a fintech representative. But we're going to pass towards PayFix right now. I spent my whole life reading legislation. My favorite newspaper was the Official Gazette. You have love, you have betrayal, you have everything. Because what you win last night, you'd lose the morning after. Just a joke. I was in Izmir, I was giving a conference, a woman next to me, and he said, well, we partnered with Italians for an olive oil product, and it was worth $150 million. But then the next day, the government canceled exports. But actually, thank God we have central banks, so we don't have anything dramatic like that. But obviously, are we talking about a bright future for fintech companies? How do you see it really? Because you are at the middle of it. When you think of relationships between banks and fintech companies, it's like the relationship between MVNO and GSM operators, because let me talk about it a little bit more. In the past, you would have down payments for a certain amount of minutes for the for operations on mobile phones, and no MVNO is now even surviving because it was not profitable. So is it something nice? Is PayFix good? Talk us about that. Is it going to survive, Doctor? Mr. Professor, it's very fun to be here with you. I've really enjoyed so far, and I believe that the audience members will share in. Hello, everyone. Actually, the fintech as a concept needs maybe an explanation. I'm here as a representative of a payment company. What do we mean by fintech? It has us, it has banks, and financial companies that use fintech is also a part of it. And financial technologies are also served by insurtechs and other players out there. Obviously, we're talking about a massive business with numerous players, and payment companies are just one leg. And we are regulated by the central bank. Before it was the banking authority. I guess with the banking regulatory authority, I guess that's how banks are regulated. You probably know because you've been reading the official gazette. Well, actually, I worked at the Central Bank of Turkey as well. And we worked with Abidin too for inspections. Well, there are so many things actually. But let me put it this way. The future of fintech is bright. Electronic payment companies also have a bright future, especially in the post-pandemic era. We have seen this trend. So everyone was locked down at home, and especially banks had a lot of problem because they would have in-person relationship with customers for opening bank accounts and other things. But then with contactless payments, it was bright period for us because we had account openings online. Now we're also talking about convergence, and that's also the title of this panel. We are talking about collaboration when we say convergence, especially with banks as part of the financial anti-financial crime investigations, and we have very sophisticated tools and programs. And actually, what we are seeing is that banks have entered the payment industry, and some banks also affiliated with payment in companies. But obviously, we have a bank as well that we partner with, and we served this convergence, I would say. So at the core of it, in the post-pandemic era, customer choices changed, customer trends changed. Customers want faster, reliable, more reliable services, and they want instant services. CB has this fast infrastructure, and especially with the digital, with CBDCs as well, you'll have your payments instantly happening. It's going to help both payment companies and banks and all the fintech companies. It's going to serve them all well. And as everyone knows, in terms of customer management, this is something that we pay a lot of attention to. And we know how difficult customer management is, especially complaint management. A few days ago, I was at live support department. If the money transfer is not done within a minute, the customer calls us right away. If the money doesn't show in the bank, then in half an hour they call the central bank. So our company makes sure that it has the infrastructure to have uninterrupted services and instant money transfers. The industry around the globe also focuses on integrated methods to offer such services. That's where the world is heading to. As we have the presenter at the corner of the stage, is probably the time for us to leave the stage. But in Turkey, as you know, no meeting starts on time. But please give our speakers a round of applause. They, with their work, contribute to all of our lives. I would like to talk about them in person. We have Avshar Gridal from MasterCard, Arhan Yazgan from Payfix, Kerem Morbay from Guarantee Payment Systems, and Zeynel Abidin Avcı from the Central Bank of the Republic of Turkey. Thank you very, very much for being here. I would like to thank you, Professor Emre Alkin.
Only 30 minutes. At 11:30, we will come back in this hall again for the next session. Enjoy your coffee. Thank you.